Hello guys, my name is Ridho Atmojo, and you can call me Joe. And my student ID is 3T2500991. And in this video, I will show you my person project 2 per intermediate grammar. In this project, it have two parts. It is language and structure and error analysis. And first, part 1 is language and structure. It have two topic, and I choose relative clause and degree of comparison. First, topic 1, relative clauses. By definition, a relative clause is a type of dependent clause that functions as an adjective to describe or modify a noun or pronoun. And the function, it connects to separate sentence into one effective sentence to avoid repetition of nouns, using relative pronouns like who, whom, which, whose, or that. Next, it is they have two main patterns. It is defining and non-defining. The defining is important to meaning the end of the sentence and no commas. The formula is noun plus relative pronoun who, which, that, and plus verb or subject and plus verb. For example, the professor who teaches syntax is very popular among students, and the laptop which I booked yesterday is already broken. Next is non-defining relative clause. It is additional information only. Commas are required. The formula is noun plus relative pronoun and plus verb or sentence. For the example, Rara, whose book was published last year, won the competition. And next, she met a friend whom she had not seen for 4 years at the campus. And I also found mass media examples is two media sources. First media source is from the Jakarta Post 2024, and the quote is, the government has introduced a new scholarship program for students who want to study linguistics. The word who is used as a subject and a relative clause to describe the noun student of humans. And next, the media source 2 is BBC News 2025. The quote is, the digital library, which was renovated recently, provides excellent online resources. And this clause use commas non-definite because the main sentence is clear and the word which describes an animate object, namely the digital library. Next, move to topic 2, degrees of comparison. And by definition, degrees of comparison are forms of adjective or adverb used to compare the qualities, characteristics, or quantities of nouns or pronouns. And the function, they are used to clearly state the difference between two or more objects divided into positive, comparative, and superlative degrees. And they have two main patterns. It is comparative degree and superlative degree. The comparative degree is for comparing two things, and the formula for short adjective is adjective plus plus than. For example, traveling by train is cheaper than traveling by plane. And for the long adjective is more plus adjective plus than. And for the example, my university is more modern than the universities in my town, in my hometown. Next, superlative degree. It is for comparing two things or most. And the formula for short adjective is the plus adjective plus s. And for the example, it is Angel is the smartest student in our grammar class. And for the long adjective, it is the most plus adjective. This semester is segment is the most difficult task among us. And this is mass media example analysis. The first made source is from Reuters 2025. The quote is, "Today's global economic wealth is worse than yesterday's projection." The word "worse" is an irregular comparative form of the adjective bad, used to compare today's economic wealth with yesterday. Next is Melissa 2. If it is from Forbes 2026. The quote is, "The new tech startup has become one of the most successful company this year. The most successful is a superlative degree for long adjective, two syllable, to highlight one subject among other competitors." And next, move to part 2. It is analysis, and it is have three paragraphs to analyzing. And the first is relative clause. Original text. It is, "This student which won the competition is my friend. She met a professor whose book was published last year. The library was renovated recently is very modern. I have a classmate he studies linguistics every day. The laptop who I booked yesterday is already broken. The lecture that she teaches syntax is very popular among students. The building which we discussed about yesterday will be demolished soon, and the researcher whom article received an award at the famous university. And this is the campus that where I studied for 4 years. The scholarship which it was offered by the government attracted many applicants. And this is the error analysis. I have 10 error analysis. In the first, the student which won. Which is four things. Use who or that for people. So it should be the student who won. And the second, a professor whose book was published last year. It is double subject and incorrect relative pronoun. For possession, use was. So it should be a professor whose book was published. The third, the library where it was renovated recently is very modern. Where is for the place, but here it is as a subject for the verb, use which or that. So the library was renovated. Okay, which is sorry, the library which it was renovated. And the fourth, I have a classmate who studies linguistics every day. It is double subject. Remove pronoun he because whose already connects them. So it should be a classmate who studies. Next, um, number 5. The laptop who I booked yesterday is already broken. Who is for people. Use which or that for object or things. So it should be the laptop which I booked. Number 6. The lecture that she teaches syntax is very popular among students. Redundant pronoun removes she as that function as subject, so it should be the lecture that teaches. Number 7. The building which we discussed about yesterday will be demolished soon. It is repetition of our syntax. Better to use about which we discussed or drop about. So it should be the building which we discussed yesterday. The number 8. The research warm article received an award was at a famous university. Possessive case required. Use whose instead of whom. So it should be the research whose article received an award. Next, number 9. This is the campus that were studied for 4 years here. It is double relative adverb of pronoun. Choose either where or at which. So it should be the campus where I studied. Number 10, the last. The scholarship which was offered by the government attracted many applicants. It is redundant pronoun and remove it because which represent the object or things. So it should be the scholarship which was offered. And this is correct text. The student who won the competition is my friend. She met a professor whose book was published last year. The library which was removed uh, recently is very modern. I have a classmate who studies linguistics every day. The laptop which I booked yesterday is already broken. The lecturer that teaches syntax is very popular among students. And the building which we discussed yesterday will be demolished soon. The researcher whose articles and who works at a famous university. This is the campus where I studied for 4 years. The scholarship which was offered by the government attracts many applicants. Next, it is from degree of comparison. And this is the original text. My university is more large than the university in my hometown. Among all students in my class, Sarah is the most smartest student. This semester is more easier than the previous one. The library is the quickest than the cafeteria. English is interesting than mathematics for many students. My laptop is expensive than my friend's laptop. Of the three presentation, John's presentation was more best. The new classroom is the more comfortable room in the building. Traveling by train is more cheap than traveling by plane. Today's weather is better than yesterday's weather. And this is the error analysis. First, my university is more large than the university in my hometown. Large is a short one-syllable adjective, so use suffix instead of more. It should be my university larger than. And the second, among the students in my class, Sarah is the most smartest student. It is double superlative. Smartest is already superlative, and so remove most. So it should be Sarah is the smartest student. The number three. This semester is more easier than the previous one. It is double comparative, and easier is already comparative. So remove more. So it should be this semester is easier than the previous one. Number four. The library is the quietest than the cafeteria. It is superlative used for comparative, change to comparative form. So it should be the library is the quieter than the cafeteria. Next, number five. English is interesting than mathematics for many students. Interesting has two syllables. Use more instead of suffix er. So it should be English is more interesting. And number six, my laptop is expensive than my friend's laptop. Expensive has three syllables. So use more instead of suffix er. My laptop, so it should be my laptop is more expensive than my friend's laptop. And the number seven, of the three presentation, Jones' presentation was more best. It is double and incorrect superlative. The superlative of good is the best, so it should be John's presentation was the best. Number eight, the new classroom is more comfortable room in building. The sentence compares one new classroom against all other rooms in the building more than two things. Thus, it requires the superlative form the most, not the comparative more. So it should be the most comfortable. And number nine, today's weather is better than yesterday's weather. It is a regular adjective. The comparative form of bad is worse, and so it should be today's weather is worse than yesterday's weather. Number 10, traveling by train is more cheap than traveling by plane. The market then establishes a comparative context, trend versus plan. Since cheap is a one-syllable word, its comparative form is constructed using the suffix cheaper and not most cheap. So it should be traveling by train is cheaper than traveling by plane. And this is a corrected text. My university is larger than your university in my hometown. Among our students in my class, Sarah is the smartest student this semester is easier than the previous one. The library is quieter than the cafeteria. English is more interesting than mathematics for many students. My laptop is more expensive than my friend's laptop. Of the three presentations, Johnny's presentation was the best. The new classroom is the most comfortable room in building. Traveling by is cheaper than traveling by plane, and today's weather is worse than yesterday's weather. Next is from Correlative Conjunction, and this is original text. Both the lecturer or the student were interested in the seminar. Either the manager and the staff members are responsible for the project. Neither the teacher or the students was prepared for the presentation. Not only does the library provide digital resource and also offer study space. The researcher is interested both in collecting data and to analyze the research. Whether the meeting will be online and offline has not been decided yet. No sooner had the lecture started when several students arrived. Scarcely had I finished my assessment than the lecturer announced a new task. Such was the difficulty of the exams that so many students failed it. Rather the professor than also the assistant conducted the workshop and have to 10 error analysis. First, both the lecturer or the student were interested in the seminar. Correlative pair error. The parent conjunction for both is and, so it should be both the lecturer and the student. The second, either the manager and the staff member are responsible for the project. Um, sorry, either the manager and the staff member are responsible for the project. Correlative pair error. The parent conjunction for either is or, so it should be either or manager or the staff members are responsible for the project. And number three, neither the teacher or the student was prepared for the presentation. Correlative pair error. The pair conjunction for neither is nor. So it should be neither the teacher nor the students. It is typo, sorry guys. And number four, the student was prepared for the presentation. Subject verb agreement. With neither nor, the verb agrees with the closest subject, the student is plural. So use were. So it should be the student were prepared for the presentation. Next, number 5. Not only does the library provide digital resources and also offer study space, corrective per error. The proper pairing for not only is but also. So it should be not only blah blah blah. So not only does the library provide digital resource and also offer study space. So it should be not only does the library provide digital resource, but it also offers study space. Number 6, the research is interested both in collecting data and to analyze the results. Faulty parallelism. Both elements joined by both and must have the same grammatical structure, given proportional place, so it should be both in collecting data and in analyzing both and. And number 7, whether the meeting will be online and offline hasn't been decided yet. It is correlative pair error. The pair conjunction for whether to show alternative is or, whether or. So it should be whether the meeting will be online or offline. And number 8, no sooner had the lecture started when several students arrived late. It is correlative pair error too. The verbal inflection no sooner must be paired with than. So it should be no sooner had the lecture start than several study reflect. The next is number 9. Scarcely had I finished my assessment than the lecturer announced a new task. It is correlative pair error. The verbal inversion scarcely must be paired with when or before. So it should be scarcely had I finished my assessment when the lecturer announced a new task. And the last number 10, either the professor then also the assistant conducts the workshop. It is incorrect pricing and syntax for choice of preference. So it should use the clear contrast structure rather than. So it should be the professor rather than the assistant conduct the workshop. So this is the code text. Both the lecturer and the student were interested in the seminar. Either the manager or the staff member are responsible for the project. Neither the teacher nor the student were prepared for the presentation. Not only does the library provide digital research, but it also offers study. The library provide but it also offers study space. The researcher is interested both in collecting data and analyzing the research. Whether the meeting will be online or offline hasn't been decided yet. No sooner had the lecture started than several students arrived late. Scarcely had I finished my assessment when the lecturer announced a new task. Such was the difficulty of the exam that so many students failed it. The professor had done the assistant conducted the workshop. So, this is my presentation, and thank you for listening and thank you for watching. I hope you all have a good day ahead. Thank you guys. See you.